Okay, second one going up today because I've been wanting to talk about this for a minute, and just because everything's kind of got me like, I think that everything's quite interrelated in the world, and so these messages that are being brought to me, I feel like are necessary for somebody else at some point in space and time. And I know almost assuredly, just in our culture, that many young boys growing up in our age with the divine feminine having had that energy trampled on a lot throughout the ages and in our culture recently, right? Uh, if you guys don't know about divine masculine and feminine energies, they are the energies that exist within us, and it essentially comes down to uh, part of the duality of how uh, creation was kind of made, how anything came to be, and just kind of a base part of how our reality exists works, right? You can look more into that later, but essentially it comes down to I would call it's like yin and yang. You feel me? So like if you look at most of life in most dual things, right, where there's two things and they oppose, well, not that they don't oppose each other, but they it's two split things, right? It's yin and yang. It's this and that, you know. It's yes, you get what I'm saying, right? But it is yin and yang. So the idea is there's the idea of um, structure versus what I'd like to call freedom, I guess. And so the feminine would represent freedom and just the uh, natural chaotic way, essentially, right? And so people sometimes take that the wrong way, and obviously our culture did a long time ago. They thought the word chaos, and they're like, "Oh man, that's scary." But chaos is also just freedom. In the end, is that everything is free to do it as it wills, right? And a lot of us like freedom. I like my freedom. Oh, I guess I like it a lot of the times, and a lot of times whenever I realize that I've tripped up and done something, I'll think back on it. I'll be like, man, yikes! I guess that's the fun of being human. But here we go. Anyway, um, yeah. And then the divine masculine is structure, right? And so the idea of taking action and ordering things around, right? But it's very rigid, obviously, as it's no longer free. It's now ordered and structured. It now has something to hold on to, and so you can imagine that a lot of our material reality is that, and so it's pretty easy to get mixed up in the idea that the divine masculine is the only thing that matters, and that's like the right thing, right? And so that's kind of a lot of the way that our society went down, and why we're having a lot of the issues that we've had. But that's an aside. I'm sure that the title says something different. You guys are wondering why the heck I'm explaining all this stuff to you. Well, in relation to men and boys growing up, uh, the idea of sexual frustrations, right? And I think that it's not just a thing for men and boys; it's a thing for girls too, because across the culture, again, we both have divine masculine and divine feminine energies, and so this is something that everybody struggles with, no matter where you are in the, you know, whatever. Okay, so uh, yeah, it's it's tough. It's tough, I should say. Hold on, let me take a second to gather my thoughts real quick before I go in more further. Okay, got it. So I started it off, mentioning boys and men because that's where I'm at, right? Obviously, it's hard for me to give the perspective from the other side, but I can give you what I see from this and how I see it across the whole thing, and hopefully, there's some lady out there that gives better advice for the woman out here, and maybe there's something in here resonates for all the girls out there too. I hope. Okay, so yeah, there's this whole culture of thinking that sex is something that you gotta have to be cool or something, and we think that in the culture, we think that it's just something for fun, it's just something for play, and it is, but we think that that is one of the fun things that will make us happy, and that is where a lot of us go wrong, and that is where a lot of us fall into, like, you know sex addictions like masturbation, or just going out and having random hookups, which is, you know that's a way of living, right? And I feel like it's a way of living that's recently been idolized in the culture just because of the way that uh, you know, celebrities tend to live at times, right? Or just some celebrities, not even most, a lot of them don't live like that, right? Or they do have a period of living like that just to learn from it, because it does seem fun. It does seem fun. I think it's just something that it feels good, right? So that's the whole gist of it. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with sex at all. The only problem comes is in thinking that it'll bring you happiness. And so that's the struggle, right? So if you find yourself searching for that, then you're not going to find what you're looking for. Because what you're actually looking for is intimacy and love, because that's what we all want. We want love and intimacy, man. We want to be cared for. We want to feel warmth, and nurtured, and like somebody's actually there for us. That's like the real stuff that we want. And that's human nature, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's just the way the world runs. We are love. The one is just love. It's an energy of love. So that's the world. Um, but it's not always seen, right? Especially now in the time where we have strictly gone by structured energy, right? And structured intelligence. We've neglected the intelligence that comes from our feminine energy, which is, the free flow, everything goes, and non-structured things like non-matter, like things that aren't in the physical, like spiritual knowledge. And we threw that baby out with the bathwater whenever we threw out the corrupt churches and religions, which is funny to me because now it seems like there's a resurgence going on with these organizations as they progress in ideals, I should say, because as long as they stay rigid and structured as they have been, and nothing changes, all things go, that's where the issues come up, right? In an ever-changing world, that just doesn't make sense, as well as the abuse of power that they can have. That's a struggle, right? And so there's many things that have gone wrong with those organizations just because of the way that they were used. But there is practical uses for gatherings of spiritual people, and I'm sure that many of the world's religions never lost sight of that, and will probably give some guidance in that resurgence that's happening now. But in any case, yes, there is spiritual knowledge. There is oh man, hold on, sorry. Okay, recentered. Back to it. Yeah, so sex is for fun, but it is not for happiness. You gotta understand that. Like, sex is just a fun thing. It's not gonna keep you. It's just another cool thing to do. It's just another cool experience. So don't chase it as your happiness. Don't think that that's why people want to be in relationships. Look at the one who's really happy. You'll look at, like, guys like to idolize the whole player ideal, or player ideal, right? And it's like, oh, this guy that goes and just has a lot of sex with a lot of women. Pointless. Look and see if that guy's actually happy, because there's something missing there, and it's intimacy. It's a real relationship, and they don't know it because they don't know what love is. They don't know what real love is. I think that's a big problem with men nowadays, that we don't truly understand love just because of emotions, right? It's not a thing that we explored very much as children. It's just like, hey, you gotta be tough and make sure that you block out things to get things done, because instead of doing things that we want to do in life, society pushes us to do what's told, essentially. It's something that we all deal with, right? And that's not the way that things have to be. So definitely live how you want to live, love how you want to love, be how you want to be, but remember that there has to be real love and intimacy behind it to find happiness, right? That's in everything, right? In passion, in living, in existing, anything, right? If you actually care, then it doesn't matter how things are going in the physical, right? It's the same idea why I'm okay being out here in California homeless in a car, because I love it. Like, I'm like, hey, I get to be in the sunshine every single day. I get to go see nature every single day. It's always bright and sunny, and it's beautiful, right? And so people out. I'm down here by the industry that I want to be in with music. I meet cool people with same ideologies like veganism down here. It's brilliant, right? And I love it. It's very open-minded, and I love that about it. So that's why I don't mind, being in a car. Whereas some people would be like, "You sleep in your car? That sounds awful." And it's like, no, dude, you don't even know. You don't even know. It's all about context. So yeah, uh, find what it is that you actually love and care about in life, and then chase it no matter what. Doesn't matter what anybody says. Doesn't matter what society tells you that you're supposed to do. Doesn't matter what you think that you're supposed to do. Right? Because sometimes you can know what you want and then just say, well, that's I can't do that. That's not what I'm supposed to do. And it's like, well, what are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do? That's you being stuck in your structured mentality because we've ignored the divine feminine. Reconnect with your divine feminine energy and realize that there's nothing that we need to be doing in this life. You can do whatever you want. And that's the beauty of it, right? That's why it's magical. That's why it's amazing. And yeah, I would invite you all to explore further into those concepts and everything that comes with it. But I just wanted to say that piece because it's something that I've genuinely struggled with for a long time. Just if I'm going to keep it G real with you, like just being a masturbation addict, high key, which is kind of TMI. Sorry if my family's watching this, but yeah, I mean, as life goes. But that was because I didn't love myself, and I didn't know what love was. To be honest, I just kind of knew how to be, essentially, right? And I searched too much for an appearance of just being someone, and that's not what you're looking for. You're looking to be you, not be someone. Okay? So, have a great day, guys. I love you. Take care. Goodbye. See ya.